Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to actually talk about some attachments that are not necessarily doing what they're saying. I've gone through and went through a lot of the various attachments for the tactical rifles, since that's been a lot of people's requests, specifically the M16 and the AUG. I went ahead and included a little bit of the DMR as well. I went to look specifically at bullet velocity and fire rate, because they did make a change to some of these things where the descriptions are actually accurate for pros and cons, but as I went to go test some of these things, they don't necessarily line up like you'd expect. So today we're going to go ahead and breeze through those. I'll probably have a bunch of the little shorter videos like this on the channel. Instead of making a one big video after like a couple days of testing, I can do a little bit of testing, find something out, and then go ahead and give you guys the information. So if you're interested in that type of thing, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're looking to find your way back to the channel. Let's go ahead and get into it. So one of the things that I wanted to go ahead and double check specifically is the agency silencer. Right here it says effective damage range is reduced, vertical recoil control, and then sound suppression, which we know is part of having a suppressor. One of the unique things about the AUG and the M16 is that they don't really have a damage drop off. They pretty much do the exact same damage anywhere on the body, and then they have a headshot multiplier where it's 72 up to about 30 meters, and everything beyond that, it's going to only be 71, which is basically irrelevant. There's no damage. It's always doing the same from 0 to infinity. It's going to require the same number of shots. So this one doesn't really make much sense to me, because you're really moving a measurement that doesn't even matter. So I thought, okay, let me go ahead and check this out. They screwed up all the agency suppressors or silencers on the other weapons. So let's see if this impacts bullet velocity. Then on top of that, when this happened, I was like, well, let me go ahead and check the fire rate, see which one has the best bullet velocity now. Because in reality, and the only way to improve bullet velocity based off the descriptions is the Cavalry Lancer. And I wanted to see if that actually lined up with what is actually happening. So let's go ahead and look a little bit at what I did for the testing, and then I'll go ahead and show you the entire spreadsheet so it's a snapshot, and you guys do with it what you will. So normally what I like to do on the channel too is I like to show that I'm actually doing some kind of testing, because I think some people are under the misconception that I just grab data from random and then I throw it into a video. So I always include this. So if you guys have already seen this, you guys already kind of know what's going on. This is how I make my consistent measurements on everything. When it comes to bullet velocity, I already know the distance between where I am. I can mount up. It's 497 meters, and then I measure the travel time from when I fire until that actually makes contact. So what we look at here is pretty much I fire the weapon, and then we look at the ammo, it drops down, and we look at the tracers visibly disappear. We continue to see this as I fire. You can see the tracer hits the object, and as soon as it disappears, that's the measurement of time. So we do that, and then on top of that, I can go ahead and look at the fire rate. Obviously, what we're looking at is the overall difference. So if this adds up to 3 seconds, I put on a different barrel, it goes down to 2.5. That's half a second difference, and then you just do the math, and then you end up with the percent difference on how much it's actually improving. Sometimes you're going to find some consistency. Even before the update, there was inconsistencies between the different tactical rifles. M16 and AUG were fairly close. And then when we go to the DMR and the type, pretty much they were pretty close, but their numbers together weren't really lining up because of various differences. So I went ahead and did that. Now let's go ahead and look at the overall spreadsheet so you can kind of see the results. So here's a look at the bullet velocities and rate of fires. I know it's a lot of numbers. What you're really looking for here is which one has the best bullet velocity and which one has the best rate of fire. That's really how you're going to determine it. Obviously, there's other factors, other metrics, but keep in mind that what people were using when the M16 was quote unquote broken right at the end of season 1, the fire rate was 902. Coincidentally, the AUG with the strike team is still 902, even though there is not a bullet velocity thing on there. It's just specifically rate of fire, and then it says it reduces your damage range. But you can see here, it's still helping out the rate of fire by about 10%. So that is going to be the best one for the AUG. You can make a decision otherwise. Look at the agency suppressor, negative 40% bullet velocity, 368. If you're using a suppressor on this thing, it's going to feel like trash. You're just not going to enjoy it unless they're within like 30 meters. It's just not going to be a good thing. Obviously, there's different grips and muzzles that you're going to have to experiment with to find out which feels the best. I'm just going to tell you here that this is not listed, but this is the best barrel, in my opinion, based off that specific difference of that hidden stat. M16 carries over. We do have 33% increase, which is pretty solid. Cavalry does what it says, 30% on a bow, 25% depending on what you're looking at there. and then we still get the increases about 9% and about 13-14% on the actual rate of fire. When I went to the DMR, we didn't see any of these change. I was thought, you know what, maybe the strike team is good for the DMR. Doesn't look like the case. It looks like that's actually fairly accurate, and the cavalry actually lines up, but it doesn't give you a fast fire rate. The same thing like the strike team. So I don't think the DMR is all going to be all that usable. 648 as a fast is just not good enough. We're usually around 850 to 900 is usually where most of those weapons excel that usually fit into the meta. And right here, you can see that the AUG is that. It's kind of become the M16 with the faster fire rate, different bullet pattern, but people will figure that out as it goes. So if you guys enjoyed the quick video, if you did, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.